24. Interracial black and white Hollywood couples you'd never recognize today. Then and now, 2026. Hollywood has always been full of secrets, scandals, and shocking love stories, but nothing sparks debate quite like interracial couples who dared to challenge society's rules. From red carpet glamour to fiery controversies, these relationships shook the industry and redefined what true love looks like. Some couples endured the spotlight with grace, while others were torn apart by public pressure. But their stories still ignite powerful conversations today. Do you believe Hollywood has truly accepted interracial love, or are hidden barriers still holding it back? Hit like, drop your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more revelations. Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson. When it comes to controversial Hollywood romances, few names echo louder than Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson. Their relationship, which began in 1992 and ended just 18 months later, still sparks conversations more than 3 decades on. At the time, both were household names. Whoopi, already an Academy Award winner for Ghost, 1990, and Ted America's beloved bartender Sam Malone from Cheers. When they met on the set of the comedy Made in America, their chemistry went beyond the script, surprising the world with a love story no one saw coming. But their union wasn't just about affection. It was also about the cultural storm that followed. In the early 90s, interracial relationships in Hollywood, especially between a black woman and a white man, were still considered taboo by many. As public figures, they faced unrelenting media scrutiny. Tabloids splashed their every move while critics debated their very right to be together. Whoopi, known for her fearless wit, never backed down from the spotlight, while Ted remained by her side, both unashamed of their bond. Yet the most infamous moment arrived at a 1993 Friars Club roast. Ted Danson appeared in blackface during a satirical routine reportedly co-written with Whoopi. Intended as edgy humor, the act backfired dramatically, drawing harsh condemnation from civil rights groups and igniting a firestorm about race and comedy. The fallout strained their relationship beyond repair. By the end of 1993, they had quietly separated, leaving behind one of Hollywood's most heated cultural flashpoints. After the breakup, both stars took different paths. Ted eventually married actress Mary Steenburgen, a relationship that has lasted over 2 decades. Whoopi, on the other hand, channeled her energy into her thriving career, becoming a co-host on The View, and continuing her work as an actress, comedian, and activist. Looking back, their relationship was brief but pivotal. It forced Hollywood and the public to confront uncomfortable truths about love, race, and humor. The story of Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson may have ended quickly, but its impact lingers. More than just a romance, it was a cultural mirror reflecting both progress and prejudice of its time. Their chapter proves that love, even when fleeting, can reshape conversations far beyond Hollywood. Halle Berry and Olivier Martinez. Few Hollywood love stories blended glamour, international allure, and emotional complexity, quite like the relationship between Halle Berry and Olivier Martinez. Their paths crossed in 2010 on the set of Dark Tide, a romantic thriller shot in South Africa. What began as on-screen chemistry quickly turned into a whirlwind romance that captured headlines worldwide. At that point, Berry was already an icon, having made history in 2002 as the first black woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Monsters Ball. Olivier, a French actor with credits in Unfaithful and SWT, carried the reputation of a brooding leading man with European sophistication. Their romance was fast and intense. In early 2012, they announced their engagement, and by July 13, 2013, they were married in a private ceremony at the Château de Condé in Valerie, France. Just months later, Berry gave birth to their son, Maceo Robert Martinez, on October 5, 2013, becoming a mother again at age 47. Berry described it as a miracle, an unexpected blessing that filled her life with renewed joy. For a brief time, their marriage appeared to represent stability and peace, blending the glitz of Hollywood with European elegance. Despite the fairy tale beginning, challenges soon emerged. By October 2015, just 2 years after their wedding, the couple announced their divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Unlike many high-profile splits, theirs was handled with quiet dignity, free of public scandal. Both Berry and Martinez emphasized their commitment to co-parenting, ensuring their son's well-being remained the top priority. For Halle Berry, the relationship was another chapter in a personal journey marked by resilience. She had previously endured highly publicized divorces and custody battles, but remained determined to protect her family. For Olivier Martinez, the marriage marked a rare moment of stepping into Hollywood's brightest spotlight before returning to a quieter, more private life in France. Though their union was brief, it stands as a reminder that even the brightest romances can burn out quickly. Halle Berry and Olivier Martinez may have parted ways, but their story, filled with passion, parenthood, and poise, remains one of the most fascinating interracial love stories in modern Hollywood. Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian. When the world's greatest tennis player met one of Silicon Valley's boldest innovators, few could have imagined they would create one of the most inspiring love stories of our era. Serena Williams and Alexis Ohanian first crossed paths in May 2015 at a hotel in Rome. Serena was preparing for a tournament while Alexis was attending a tech conference. A simple breakfast encounter became the spark that changed both their lives. What made their romance unique was not just the contrast between their worlds, sports dominance versus digital entrepreneurship, but the way their love grew on mutual respect. Serena, usually reserved about her personal life, found in Alexis a partner who was unafraid to support her greatness. By December 2016, Alexis proposed in the same hotel where they first met. A year later, on November 16, 2017, the two married in a lavish New Orleans ceremony attended by Beyoncé, Kim Kardashian, and Anna Wintour. Just before their wedding, Serena gave birth to their daughter Alexis Olympia Ohanian Jr. on September 1, 2017. Balancing motherhood and a record-breaking career. Serena often credited Alexis for being her steady foundation. Unlike many celebrity husbands, he embraced her spotlight fully. From cheering courtside with Olympia to stepping down from Reddit's board in 2020 to focus on family, Alexis consistently demonstrated that partnership means equality in both love and life. Their bond goes beyond romance, it's a story of breaking stereotypes. Serena has said, "He's not afraid to let me shine. He's proud of it." Together, they've challenged outdated gender roles, showing that a man's strength can lie in uplifting his partner rather than overshadowing her. Their marriage has also symbolized the blending of cultures. Serena, an African-American woman from Compton who reshaped global tennis, and Alexis, a tech pioneer of Armenian descent, proving that love knows no cultural or racial barriers. In 2023, the couple welcomed their second daughter, Adira River, deepening their legacy as a family grounded in love, equality, and shared purpose. Today, in 2026, Serena and Alexis remain one of the most admired interracial couples in the world, not just because of who they are individually, but because of the powerful, balanced, and courageous example they set together. Grace Hightower and Robert De Niro. Among Hollywood's most intriguing interracial marriages, few carried the weight and dignity of Robert De Niro and Grace Hightower. Their love story began in 1987 at Mr. Chow in London, where Grace was working as a hostess. At the time, De Niro was already a two-time Oscar winner, celebrated for roles in Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. Yet what drew him to Grace was not her connection to the entertainment industry, but her quiet strength, beauty, and independence. After nearly a decade of dating, the couple married in 1997. Their wedding was a private affair, but it symbolized more than romance. It marked a rare, high-profile interracial union in Hollywood during a time when such marriages were still met with curiosity and skepticism. Grace, born in Mississippi and raised in modest circumstances, carved her own path long before meeting De Niro. She became known for her philanthropic ventures, most notably Grace Hightower and Coffees of Rwanda, an initiative that empowered farmers in the aftermath of genocide. Their family grew with the birth of their son Elliot in 1998, followed by the adoption of their daughter Helen Grace via surrogate. Like many marriages, theirs faced challenges. In 1999, De Niro filed for divorce, leading to a highly public custody battle. Yet remarkably, they reconciled and remarried in 2004. Their second ceremony, attended by Martin Scorsese and Meryl Streep, reflected not just Hollywood glamour, but the depth of a bond that endured hardship. For over 2 decades, Grace and De Niro walked side by side, balancing family life with demanding careers. Grace emerged as a respected businesswoman and philanthropist, while De Niro maintained his place as one of cinema's greatest actors. In 2018, news broke that the couple had quietly separated again. Though the details remain private, they continued to present a united front for their children, prioritizing family dignity above all. Their story is not one of perfection, but of resilience. Robert De Niro and Grace Hightower demonstrated that love between two people of different races is no different than any other, filled with triumphs, trials, and moments of reconciliation. Even apart, their journey stands as a reminder that interracial unions in Hollywood are more than headlines. They are legacies that shape how the world views love. Grace Jones and Dolph Lundgren. The 1980s were a decade of bold fashion, experimental art, and cultural rebellion, and no couple embodied that spirit more than Grace Jones and Dolph Lundgren. Their relationship wasn't just a romance. It was an explosive collision of worlds that fascinated the public and defined an era. Grace, the Jamaican-born singer, model, and actress, was already a global icon, known for her androgynous beauty, avant-garde fashion, and daring stage presence. Dolph, on the other hand, was a Swedish bodybuilder and chemical engineer who had not yet stepped into the Hollywood spotlight. The two met in 1983 at a nightclub in Sydney, Australia. Grace, instantly captivated by Dolph's striking physique and quiet intelligence, took him under her wing. She brought him back to New York, introduced him to Andy Warhol, and helped him break into modeling. Soon after, she became the driving force behind his early acting career, securing him a small role alongside her in the James Bond film A View to a Kill, 1985. From there, Dolph quickly landed the part of Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, 1985, a role that propelled him to international fame. But their connection went far beyond professional mentorship. Together, they turned heads on red carpets, graced magazine covers, and blurred the lines between art, fashion, and rebellion. Grace's futuristic style and unapologetic presence, paired with Dolph's Nordic masculinity, created an unforgettable visual spectacle. They were not just a couple, they were walking performance art. Behind the flashbulbs, however, lay a genuine bond. Grace often described Dolph as both a lover and a student, someone she adored but also molded. Their relationship lasted about 4 years, during which they became symbols of fearlessness, individuality, and the power of breaking social norms. By the late 1980s, they parted ways. Grace later reflected, "I helped him become who he was, but he had to find his own way." Though no longer together, their legacy remains undeniable. Grace Jones and Dolph Lundgren showed the world that love can be both electric and transformative, inspiring generations of artists, designers, and fans who saw in them a living example of beauty, strength, and defiance against convention. Zoe Saldana and Marco Perego. When Hollywood speaks about fearless women, Zoe Saldana's name always rises to the top. From Avatar to Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Trek, she has carried blockbuster franchises while breaking barriers for Afro-Latina actresses in an industry that often struggles with representation. Yet one of her boldest decisions wasn't on screen, but in her personal life, marrying Italian artist Marco Perego in 2013. Their love story caught attention not just for its swiftness. They went public in spring and secretly married in London by summer, but for the radical choices they made together. Most famously, Marco took Zoe's last name, becoming Marco Perego Saldana, a gesture that shocked tradition but symbolized deep equality in their union. Zoe once recalled warning him about backlash, to which he replied, "Zoe, I don't care." That defiance cemented their marriage as more than romance. It became a statement of partnership. Together, they are raising 3 sons, Sai, Bowie, and Zen, in a bilingual and bicultural household. Rejecting outdated gender roles, they openly share responsibilities. Marco cooks, while Zoe handles repairs, teaching their children that love is about respect, not stereotypes. Marco, a former professional soccer player turned artist, expresses himself through metaphysical paintings and abstract sculptures, while Zoe continues her reign on screen. Though their careers differ, their creative spirits align, allowing them to cultivate a marriage rooted in artistry and balance. Unlike Hollywood's flashy couples, Zoe and Marco remain relatively private, choosing to build their home on authenticity rather than spectacle. In many ways, their story represents modern love equal unapologetic and progressive. Zoe Saldana and Marco Perego Saldana are proof that love doesn't just cross racial and cultural lines, it can rewrite the very rules of family identity and tradition. Eve and Maximilian Cooper. When Philadelphia-born rapper Eve Jehan Jeffers and British entrepreneur Maximilian Cooper first met at the 2010 Gumball 3000 rally, few expected the pairing to endure. Eve was known for her Grammy-winning hits like Let Me Blow Ya Mind and her role in the barbershop films. Maximilian, meanwhile, came from British aristocracy and built a reputation as the founder of Gumball 3000, a glamorous international car rally that fused music, fashion, and motorsports. Despite their contrasting worlds, their chemistry was undeniable. Eve admired his calm strength, while Maximilian valued her independence and resilience qualities she had honed growing up in a single-parent household. They married on June 14, 2014, in Ibiza, Spain, in a lavish multicultural celebration. Eve relocated to London, embracing life as a stepmother to Maximilian's 4 children from a previous marriage, a role she called both challenging and rewarding. Their union wasn't without trials. For years, Eve openly struggled with fertility, discussing her journey candidly on The Talk. In February 2022, at age 43, she gave birth to their son Wild Wolf Fife, Alexander Summers Cooper. She described it as her greatest blessing, a dream realized after years of waiting. More than a love story, their marriage has been a powerful response to public criticism. Many fans initially questioned Eve's choice to marry a white man, but their decade-long bond silenced the doubters. Instead, they have become a symbol of stability and devotion, proving that love transcends race, class, and cultural divides. Eve and Maximilian balance careers, family, and philanthropy while raising their son in a home filled with love and creativity. Their story is a testament to persistence, respect, and the courage to embrace happiness on one's own terms. Naomi Campbell and Vladislav Doronin. Few romances in the fashion world were as dazzling and enigmatic as the relationship between Naomi Campbell and Russian billionaire Vladislav Doronin. Their paths crossed at the Cannes Film Festival in 2008, a fittingly glamorous backdrop for a love story that would dominate tabloids for nearly 5 years. Naomi, one of the world's first black supermodels to achieve true international stardom, was at the height of her career. Vladislav, often described as Russia's Donald Trump, had built a fortune developing luxury properties across Europe and Asia. Their relationship was a spectacle of wealth and beauty. They vacationed on private islands, attended exclusive galas, and turned heads on red carpets. Perhaps the most iconic symbol of their love was the futuristic Capitol Hill residence in Moscow, a spaceship-like home designed by famed architect Zaha Hadid. Vladislav commissioned it as a gift for Naomi, cementing their status as one of the most extravagant power couples of the late 2000s. But beyond the opulence, their bond revealed a softer side of Naomi. Known for her fiery presence on the runway, she often appeared calmer and more private during this chapter of her life. Vladislav's steadiness seemed to complement her intensity. creating a dynamic that fascinated the media. By 2013, the romance ended quietly with little scandal or bitterness. Naomi later focused on philanthropy, and years later embraced motherhood on her own terms. For Vladislav, the relationship became one of his most public connections outside the business world. Though their love didn't last, it remains a defining example of how two people from vastly different worlds, fashion and real estate, can create a moment in history that still feels unforgettable. Donna Summer and Bruce Sudano. When the Queen of Disco found her life partner, the world discovered a quieter, more intimate side of her legacy. Donna Summer, who reigned in the 1970s with hits like Hot Stuff and Last Dance, met Brooklyn-born musician Bruce Sudano in the late 70s. Their paths crossed in the recording studio where Bruce, a member of Brooklyn Dreams, collaborated with her on music that would soon top the charts. Their partnership was both creative and deeply personal. Bruce co-wrote several of Donna's most iconic songs, including Bad Girls, but his role extended far beyond the stage. He became her confidant collaborator, and eventually her husband in 1980. At a time when interracial marriages were still rare in the public eye, Donna and Bruce chose to live quietly, focusing on love and faith over fame. They raised 3 daughters, Brooklyn, Amanda, and Mimi, while balancing careers with family life in Connecticut and Nashville. Unlike the whirlwind relationships of many celebrities, theirs was built on mutual trust and devotion. Donna even stepped back from the spotlight in the 1990s to prioritize her family faith and painting, while Bruce continued to write and produce. Their marriage endured challenges, but lasted more than 3 decades, a rarity in Hollywood or the music industry. When Donna tragically passed away in 2012 from lung cancer at just 63, Bruce was devastated. Yet he dedicated himself to preserving her legacy, ensuring her influence on music and culture would never fade. Through memoirs, tribute performances, and his own music, Bruce continues to honor the woman he called his soulmate. Their love story, both public and deeply private, remains one of the most enduring examples of interracial devotion in the entertainment world. FKA Twigs and Robert Pattinson. Some love stories don't need glittering red carpets to make an impact. The relationship between FKA Twigs-born Talia DeBrett Barnett and Robert Pattinson was one of those quiet yet powerful romances that challenged stereotypes and forced conversations about race, fame, and public perception. They first met in 2014 when Robert, fresh from the massive Twilight franchise, was reshaping his career, while Twigs was making waves as a bold and experimental artist with her debut album LP1. Their union surprised many. Robert, seen as a mainstream movie star, and Twigs, known for her avant-garde style and boundary-pushing creativity, seemed like polar opposites. Yet their chemistry was undeniable. They rarely flaunted their love in public, often avoiding paparazzi, but whenever they appeared together, the contrast was striking: the clean-cut British actor beside a black British artist whose fashion and artistry defied convention. In 2015, the couple announced their engagement, stunning fans and tabloids alike. Unfortunately, the joy was soon clouded by racism. Twigs endured relentless online abuse, much of it from Robert's own fan base, with many unable or unwilling to accept her as his partner. She later revealed how dehumanizing the attacks felt, though Robert remained supportive, refusing to let public hate define their bond. By 2017, their engagement quietly ended. There was no scandal, betrayal, or bitterness, just 2 artists reaching different crossroads in their lives. Still, the respect they held for each other endured. Their relationship remains a reminder that love can be both revolutionary and fragile, especially under the weight of prejudice and fame. For Twigs, it was a chapter of resilience. For Robert, it was proof of his willingness to stand against societal pressure. Together, even briefly, they rewrote what a Hollywood couple could look like. Heather Headley and Brian Musso. Not every interracial Hollywood love story is lived in the spotlight. For Heather Headley, the Tony and Grammy-winning singer and actress, her greatest role has been offstage, being a wife and mother alongside former NFL player Brian Musso. Their love story began at Northwestern University in the 1990s, where Heather studied musical theater, and Brian was a standout football player from a family of athletes. They married in 2003, choosing a life away from flashing cameras. Heather, originally from Trinidad and raised in Indiana, often says Brian keeps her grounded, reminding her of life beyond the stage. He, in turn, describes her as the heartbeat of their family. While Heather's voice soared on Broadway in The Lion King and Aida, and through her gospel and R&B albums, Brian transitioned from professional sports into business, quietly supporting her career while raising their 3 children. Unlike Hollywood's dramatic romances, their marriage is a story of steadiness. They avoid social media and rarely court public attention, preferring family dinners and quiet faith to glitz and glamour. This intentional privacy has protected their bond for over 2 decades, making them one of the industry's most enduring interracial couples. For Heather, Brian's loyalty allowed her to take creative risks, knowing her family was secure. For Brian, Heather's artistry brought vibrancy and purpose into their home. Together, they have built a marriage defined by loyalty, respect, and quiet strength. Their union may not grab headlines like others, but in its simplicity lies a powerful truth. Sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones lived beyond the spotlight with no audience except family. Iman and David Bowie. Few love stories in Hollywood or the music world shine as brightly as that of David Bowie and Iman. When they met in 1990, Bowie was already a legendary rock star whose career had spanned decades, while Iman was one of the most recognizable supermodels in the world. For Bowie, it was love at first sight. He reportedly told friends he knew instantly that she was the one. They married in 1992, first in a private ceremony in Switzerland, then with a larger celebration in Florence, Italy. Their union quickly became iconic not just because of their fame, but because of the way they carried themselves, elegant, private, and deeply devoted. Unlike many celebrity couples who lived for the spotlight, Bowie and Iman preferred to protect their bond. He often described her as the light of my life, a partner who brought him stability and joy. Their marriage lasted over 24 years, until Bowie's passing in 2016. During those years, they raised their daughter Alexandria Lexi Zara Jones, born in 2000, while also blending family ties from their previous relationships. Both continued their careers, Bowie experimenting with music and art until the very end, and Iman building her cosmetics empire and engaging in philanthropy, but always prioritized their family. What made their relationship extraordinary was not only longevity, but the way they challenged perceptions. A white British rock star and a Somali-born black supermodel became a global symbol of interracial love that transcended fame, race, and culture. Even after Bowie's death, Iman has spoken of her love for him as eternal, calling herself his widow, not single. Their story stands as proof that the greatest romances are not defined by time in the spotlight, but by unwavering devotion behind closed doors. Minnie Riperton and Richard Rudolph. The marriage of Minnie Riperton and Richard Rudolph remains one of the most poignant love stories in music history. Minnie, a Chicago-born singer with a 5-octave vocal range, rose to fame with her 1975 hit Lovin' You. The song, a tender ballad she co-wrote with Richard, was originally a lullaby for their daughter Maya Rudolph, who would later become a celebrated comedian and actress. The couple met in the early 1970s while working at Chess Records in Chicago. Minnie was pursuing her career as a rising soul singer, while Richard was a talented songwriter and producer. Their musical connection quickly blossomed into romance, and they married in 1972. Together, they built a family with 2 children, Maya and Mark, and collaborated on several of Minnie's albums. What set their story apart was the deep intertwining of love and art. Richard not only co-wrote Lovin' You, but also stood by Minnie through the most difficult chapter of her life, her diagnosis with breast cancer in 1976. At just 29 years old, she faced an aggressive disease, but chose to continue performing, recording, and advocating for cancer awareness, becoming one of the first public figures to share her journey openly. Minnie's strength inspired millions, and Richard never left her side. He supported her final projects, including the 1979 album, Minnie. Tragically, she passed away on July 12, 1979, at only 31 years old. Richard carried on her legacy, raising their children with love and ensuring Minnie's music remained celebrated. Even decades later, he continues to honor her story in interviews and music. Their marriage, though cut short, was filled with devotion, artistry, and resilience. Minnie Riperton and Richard Rudolph's love story endures as a reminder that even brief unions can leave an everlasting mark on culture, family, and history. Barbara Feltus and Boris Becker. In the 1990s, Germany witnessed a love story that not only broke cultural barriers, but also made a powerful public statement: the marriage of Boris Becker and Barbara Feltus. Becker, who became the youngest men's singles champion in Wimbledon history at just 17 years old in 1985, was a global tennis sensation. Barbara, a German-American actress and model, was carving her own path in fashion and film. Their relationship became official in 1993 when they married, but what truly shook public opinion was a bold photograph they posed for together that same year. The couple appeared nude on the cover of Stern magazine, embracing each other intimately. For some, it was scandalous. For others, it was a revolutionary act of defiance against racism and prejudice in a country still grappling with its identity. Their marriage produced two sons, Noah, born in 1994, and Elias, born in 1999. Noah later pursued a career as an artist and DJ, while Elias also ventured into modeling, carrying forward the family's creative spirit. Despite the glamour and power their union projected, Barbara and Boris faced mounting pressures. His high-profile tennis career came with relentless media attention, while Barbara often carried the weight of racial commentary in Germany, where interracial unions were still stigmatized. By 2001, their marriage ended in divorce, drawing even more tabloid attention. Barbara relocated to the United States, focusing on careers in design, wellness, and philanthropy. She became known for her independence and resilience, raising her children with dignity away from the glare of European tabloids. While the marriage didn't last, its cultural impact did. Barbara and Boris Becker's union symbolized a turning point in German society, sparking conversations about race, love, and identity. Their story remains one of the most talked about interracial relationships in sports and entertainment history. Thandiwe Newton and Ole Parker. For over 2 decades, Thandiwe Newton and Ole Parker represented one of Britain's most enduring interracial marriages. Thandiwe, acclaimed for her performances in films like Beloved 1998, Crash 2004, and her Emmy-winning role in Westworld, built a reputation as an actress of profound emotional range. Ole Parker, meanwhile, established himself as a respected screenwriter and director, best known for works like The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel and Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. The couple married in 1998, just as Thandiwe's Hollywood career began its ascent. Unlike many celebrity duos who leverage fame as a shared spotlight, they kept their partnership relatively low profile. Their focus was family and mutual support, raising 3 children, Ripley, Nico, and Booker, in a home filled with creativity and respect. Both Ripley and Nico later followed artistic paths, one in music and the other in acting, reflecting the environment of openness their parents fostered. What made their union stand out was its steadiness. While Thandiwe spoke publicly about racial identity, the pressures of fame and personal traumas she faced in Hollywood, Ole provided a grounding presence. Their marriage wasn't about being a power couple, but about allowing each other space to thrive. She once said of him, "He lets me fly, and I do the same for him." In 2022, after 24 years together, the couple announced their separation. The news wasn't marked by scandal, but rather by mutual respect and reflection. Thandiwe framed it not as an ending, but as a transformation, saying, "Some stories change, but love persists in many forms." Their relationship serves as a testament to the resilience of interracial marriages in the public eye. Thandiwe Newton and Ole Parker may have gone their separate ways, but their decades-long union remains an inspiring example of balance, respect, and enduring family values. Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton. Reality TV has created its fair share of fleeting romances, but few have captured genuine hearts like the love story of Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton from Netflix's hit series Love is Blind. Their journey began in 2018 during the show's first season, a social experiment designed to test if love could blossom without seeing one another face to face. For Lauren, a Black content creator and entrepreneur, and Cameron, a white data scientist, the connection was immediate and undeniable. From their very first conversations in the pods, their bond grew deeper, built on vulnerability and honesty rather than appearances. When Cameron proposed sight unseen, millions of viewers doubted whether this kind of love could survive outside the experiment. But Lauren and Cameron defied expectations, marrying on November 16, 2018. What set them apart wasn't just their interracial relationship, but the authenticity with which they navigated the challenges of blending families and cultures under public scrutiny. Lauren often spoke candidly about the pressures of being in an interracial marriage, especially as a Black woman married to a white man in America, while Cameron expressed unwavering support and admiration. Their openness resonated with fans who saw in them a model for empathy and understanding. Far from fading after the cameras stopped rolling, their marriage flourished. They built a joint brand, authored the book Leap of Faith: Finding Love the Modern Way, and continue to inspire couples worldwide through their YouTube channel and social media presence. Their story isn't about a fairy tale ending, it's about the real work of love, compromise, and communication. Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton proved that love born in the most unconventional settings can blossom into something lasting. Their marriage remains one of reality TV's greatest success stories and a testament to the power of connection beyond barriers of race or background. Kayla Nicole and Travis Kelce. When NFL star Travis Kelce and sports journalist model Kayla Nicole began dating in 2017, they quickly became one of the most talked about interracial celebrity couples. Travis, a white tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, already had a reputation as one of the league's brightest talents. Kayla, a Black on-air personality and model, brought her own charm, humor, and outspoken personality to the relationship, making them a fan-favorite duo. Their romance was as public as it was magnetic. They attended red carpets together, shared playful videos on social media, and openly celebrated their love. For many, they represented progress, a high-profile interracial couple thriving in a world where scrutiny can often tear relationships apart. Kayla herself often spoke about the double standards she faced as a Black woman dating a famous white athlete, but her confidence and grace helped her navigate criticism with resilience. At the height of their relationship, they were celebrated not only as a glamorous pair, but also as role models for love that transcends boundaries. Travis was frequently praised for supporting and uplifting Kayla, showing a side of himself that was tender, respectful, and deeply human away from the football field. Despite their strong public presence, the relationship ended in 2022 after years together. While the breakup saddened many, both chose to handle it with maturity, avoiding drama and focusing on their respective careers. For Kayla, it was an opportunity to expand her platform as a journalist and influencer. For Travis, it was a reminder that even sports heroes face the same challenges in love as anyone else. Though their romance ended, the legacy remains. Travis Kelce and Kayla Nicole's love story broke barriers and inspired conversations about interracial relationships in the modern era. Their time together proved that authenticity, respect, and courage are what truly define love, even when it doesn't last forever. Garcelle Beauvais and Mike Nylon. For actress and model Garcelle Beauvais, best known for The Jamie Foxx Show, NYPD Blue, and more recently as a cast member on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her marriage to talent agent Mike Nylon seemed at first like a Hollywood success story. The couple married in 2001, and in 2007, Garcelle gave birth to twin sons Jax and Jade, a miracle she deeply cherished as she became a mother again at the age of 40 after fertility struggles. Their family image appeared picture-perfect, but behind the scenes lay betrayal that would change Garcelle's life forever. In 2010, she discovered that Mike had been having an affair for 5 years. In a moment of pain and anger, she emailed his colleagues about his infidelity, an act that quickly became tabloid headlines. While the revelation was messy, it also demonstrated Garcelle's raw honesty and refusal to remain silent in the face of betrayal. The couple divorced shortly after leaving Garcelle to raise her sons largely on her own. Instead of letting heartbreak define her, she chose empowerment. She leaned into her career co-hosting The Real, starring in reality television, and writing her memoir, Love Me As I Am. Garcelle's journey after the marriage showcased her resilience. She refused to be a victim, instead becoming an example of strength, forgiveness, and personal growth. Her story is not one of a marriage that lasted, but one of a woman who reclaimed her voice and dignity. For Garcelle Beauvais, the end of her relationship with Mike Nylon was not a collapse, but a turning point, a moment that shaped her into one of Hollywood's most admired figures of resilience. Alfre Woodard and Roderick Spencer. Alfre Woodard, one of America's most acclaimed actresses, has built a career defined by dignity, grace, and unforgettable performances in films such as Cross Creek, 12 Years a Slave, and Clemency. Behind her achievements stands a love story that has spanned over 4 decades with writer and producer Roderick Spencer. They married in 1983 at a time when interracial marriages in Hollywood were far less common. Yet for Alfre and Roderick, their relationship was never about making a statement, it was simply about choosing each other. Together, they adopted 2 children, Mavis and Duncan, raising them with a strong sense of cultural pride, responsibility, and social awareness. What makes their partnership unique is its quiet strength. Unlike many couples in the entertainment industry, they have rarely sought the spotlight. Instead, they've focused on supporting one another's work and advocating for causes they care about. Alfre has been outspoken about racial equality and representation in Hollywood, while Roderick has worked as both a screenwriter and a social activist. In 2010, their daughter Mavis even represented California at the Miss Golden Globes, standing proudly beside her parents who served as examples of enduring love and progress. For Alfre and Roderick, marriage has not been about headlines or celebrity status, but about respect, companionship, and shared values. Their story is proof that interracial love can endure the test of time, not by chasing fame, but by building a foundation of mutual trust. 4 decades later, Alfre Woodard and Roderick Spencer continue to exemplify what it means to grow together, creating a love that thrives quietly yet powerfully. Tamara Mowry and Adam Housley. For actress and TV personality, Tamara Mowry, best known for Sister Sister and her work as a co-host on The Real Love, came in the form of an unexpected yet enduring bond with journalist Adam Housley. The couple began dating in 2005, and despite their obvious chemistry, they faced challenges from the very beginning. Adam, a white Fox News correspondent, and Tamara, a black actress, found themselves navigating a world where interracial relationships often became the target of unfair scrutiny. In 2011, they married in Napa Valley, California, in a picturesque ceremony surrounded by friends, family, and vineyards. The marriage quickly became a cornerstone of both of their lives. Together, they welcomed 2 children, a son, Aiden, in 2012, and a daughter, Aria, in 2015. For Tamara, motherhood became a central joy, while Adam's role as both a father and defender of his wife against public criticism showcased his loyalty and commitment. Much of the scrutiny they endured stemmed from Adam's professional background in conservative media, which often clashed with public expectations of Tamara's choices. Yet the couple repeatedly reminded the world that love is about individuals, not labels. Adam himself has publicly defended his wife, saying that character integrity and devotion matter more than political or racial identity. Tamara has shared that her marriage has taught her resilience and the importance of standing firm in love despite social pressures. Together, they have shown that interracial marriage can stand strong even under the harshest lights of public opinion. Their bond is rooted in family values, faith, and loyalty qualities that have kept them united for nearly 2 decades. Justin Chambers and Keisha Chambers. While many Hollywood marriages collapse under the pressures of fame, the relationship between Justin Chambers and Keisha Chambers is a quiet, enduring love story that continues to inspire. Justin, best known for his role as Dr. Alex Karev on Grey's Anatomy, met Keisha in the early 1990s, long before his acting career took off. At the time, Justin was a fashion model and Keisha worked at a modeling agency. They married in 1993, choosing commitment and family over the glitz of Hollywood. Over the years, they welcomed 5 children together, Isabella twins Maya and Kayla, Eva, and Jackson. While Justin's career exploded with Grey's Anatomy from 2005 onward, Keisha remained his anchor, largely avoiding the public eye while dedicating herself to their family. Unlike many celebrity couples, the Chambers family has deliberately stayed out of the spotlight. Rarely appearing at red carpet events, they've built a life centered on privacy, stability, and love. Justin has often expressed deep gratitude for his wife, crediting her with keeping him grounded in an industry known for temptation and turbulence. Now, after more than 30 years together, Justin and Keisha remain one of the rare examples of enduring interracial love in Hollywood. Their story shows that loyalty, humility, and family can outshine fame and fortune. While Justin's name is known worldwide, Keisha's quiet strength is the foundation of their relationship, proof that sometimes the most powerful love stories are the ones lived far away from cameras. Ron Perlman and Opal Stone. For decades, actor Ron Perlman, known for roles in Hellboy, Sons of Anarchy, and Beauty and the Beast, balanced Hollywood fame with a deeply rooted marriage to jewelry designer Opal Stone. The couple wed in 1981, long before Ron became a household name, and together they built a life far away from constant paparazzi flashes. Their partnership spanned nearly 40 years, raising 2 children, Blake and Brandon. While Ron was often cast as tough, gritty characters on screen in real life, Opal provided him with balance and quiet strength. She pursued her own creative career as a jewelry designer, cultivating her own identity while supporting Ron's long and often grueling career in the film industry. What made their relationship significant was the way it endured the pressures of Hollywood. From the 1980s through the 2010s, Ron and Opal were rarely tabloid fodder. Instead, they nurtured a private family life focusing on loyalty and creativity. Their interracial union quietly stood as an example of love-defying social stereotypes at a time when such marriages were still rare in the entertainment world. In 2019, after 38 years together, Ron and Opal separated, finalizing their divorce in 2021. Unlike many celebrity breakups, theirs unfolded with dignity and mutual respect. Even after parting ways, they maintained focus on their children and the values they had built together. Their story is one of longevity, endurance, and mutual growth. Though their marriage ended, Ron Perlman and Opal Stone remain a reminder that interracial marriages in Hollywood can thrive for decades, proving that true love is not defined by headlines, but by the life built behind closed doors. John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. Few modern celebrity couples have captured the public imagination quite like John Legend and Chrissy Teigen. Their story began in 2006, when Chrissy appeared in John's music video for Stereo. Sparks flew immediately, and by 2013, they were married in a stunning ceremony at Lake Como, Italy, a location that has since become synonymous with their love story. John, one of the most celebrated R&B and soul artists of his generation, has always infused his career with themes of romance and devotion. His 2013 ballad, All of Me, a global hit, was written for Chrissy, cementing their relationship as a pop culture love story. Chrissy, a model and TV personality, brought humor, honesty, and a bold presence to their marriage, often sharing candid moments on social media that endeared them to millions of fans. The couple faced both triumphs and trials together. They became parents to 4 children, Luna, Miles, Esty, and Ren, and openly discussed their struggles with fertility and loss, a vulnerability that resonated with many families worldwide. Through it all, John and Chrissy have remained united, showing that interracial marriage can thrive in the spotlight without losing authenticity. Their union is more than romance. It's also advocacy. Both have used their platforms to speak about race equality and justice, positioning their marriage as a symbol of harmony and resilience. John often praises Chrissy as his muse and anchor, while Chrissy celebrates John as both a loving husband and an extraordinary father. Their story is proof that true love can endure under the brightest spotlight as long as it is rooted in sincerity and respect. John Legend and Chrissy Teigen continue to inspire fans worldwide with a marriage that is both glamorous and profoundly human. George Lucas and Melody Hobson. When George Lucas, the visionary filmmaker behind Star Wars and Indiana Jones, found love with Melody Hobson, president of Ariel Investments and a highly respected businesswoman, the world took notice. Their relationship, which began in 2006, was not just a union of two powerful individuals, but also a rare and inspiring example of interracial love at the highest levels of Hollywood and corporate America. Melody, born in Chicago and raised by a single mother, built her career through determination and brilliance. By the time she met Lucas at a business conference, she was already a rising figure in finance and corporate leadership, eventually serving on the boards of companies such as Starbucks and J.P. Morgan Chase. Lucas, already one of the most influential directors in cinema history, admired her intelligence, independence, and calm demeanor. In June 2013, the couple married at Lucas's famed Skywalker Ranch in Marin County, California. The intimate ceremony gathered friends from both Hollywood and business, including Oprah Winfrey and former Senator Bill Bradley. Later that year, they welcomed their daughter, Everest Hobson Lucas, via surrogacy, an event that Lucas described as one of the greatest joys of his life. At 69, he became a father again, embracing parenthood with the same passion he poured into storytelling. What makes their story remarkable is not only their love, but their shared values. Both Lucas and Hobson have been deeply committed to philanthropy. Lucas pledged billions from the sale of Lucasfilm to educational causes, while Hobson has long championed financial literacy and opportunities for underserved communities. Together, they represent a marriage that blends creativity with leadership art, with commerce, and love with responsibility. Their interracial union also carried symbolic weight. In an industry where diversity was often limited, seeing one of the most powerful white filmmakers in history with a successful black businesswoman sent a powerful message: love transcends not only race, but also societal expectations. Even now, their relationship continues to inspire. George Lucas and Melody Hobson's partnership is more than a Hollywood love story. It is a narrative of balance, vision, and shared purpose. In their lives, as in Lucas's films, the real triumph lies in the power of unity. Love in Hollywood has always been under the spotlight, but these interracial couples remind us that true connection rises above race, fame, and cultural barriers. Their stories are powerful symbols of courage, resilience, and the timeless truth that love knows no boundaries. But what do you think? Have we truly moved beyond prejudice, or do hidden barriers still remain in Hollywood today? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here on Legends of Black Excellence for more untold stories.